All right, Lia Valencia Key. Hey, girl, hey! The sunshiny yellow behind you is so gorgeous. Welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I just love how life brings you connected to just great hearts, and I'm honored to be here with you.
Oh, thanks, friend. So, yeah, okay, here's a little background of how Lia and I, quote, know each other, which has been a
Yeah.
very short amount of time. And I asked her to be on my podcast for several reasons, but you'll understand why as we get into this episode. I listened to Emma Benner, who is a podcast host, one of the podcast hosts of the Illuminate podcast. And she is in the Sandy Boy Productions Network, which is what the Urban Pharmacy podcast is part of. And I was listening to the episode with Leah and I was like, I need to have her on the Urban Pharmacy because no, she's not going to be talking about plant-based nutrition, which is largely what we've been talking about on this podcast so far. But as I have said, we're making a shift, we're growing, and we are expanding to make this more about not only living well, but also living on purpose. And I believe that Leah has a huge purpose here on this earth, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. So, Leah, with that, tell us about you. I know that's general, but tell us.
No, I love it. Well, I'm excited because I love that you're about plant-based and really living healthy and living from the inside out is what I know to be a beautiful grab a hold of, because I have challenges with that. So when you grab a hold of what you're putting into your body, that's power, right? And then to elevate that another level. And so what are you, not only orally what are you putting in, but what are you allowing in? And then what are you allowing in, but then what are you allowing out? So they're all connected to me in a mindset. So I love being here because my mission is to think about what are we allowing mentally in? How are we controlling what mentally comes in? And then what are we choosing to radiate out? And I love starting with my journey to know, like, it doesn't matter where you come from. My number one thing my mother told me when I was super little was your predicament doesn't determine your destiny, which means it doesn't matter what situation you're in, be it the greatest situations or the most challenging. I grew up in super humble beginnings in the most impoverished area of Philadelphia. We went from poverty, meaning the streets paved in trash and violence, but we still had an apartment under a basement at one point. But then my mother fell ill and we lost that little place that we called home. And at that instant, we became homeless. So from poverty to destitute at a really young age. And we had to live in homeless shelters for years. And the homeless shelters were filled with darkness and lack of hope and lack of faith and just doing what you feel you can do in the moment, which is not always great. I love connecting that to plant-based eating because, like, it's a choice to decide what you're going to put in your body. And it's not an easy choice because it's not around. So you actually have to go seek it, right? You have to actually intentionally decide this is what you're going to do and make a commitment to your life for that. Well, that's the story of my life. What I was born into was negativity and challenges. So it was easy for me to follow what I saw, just like your diet. If it's easy, you go to the corner store and they have horrible food, you just eat that unless you decide a more conscious choice. And that, so I was initially, when I was younger, I was succumbing to my environment because I didn't understand that you had choice in the beginning. So I was becoming negative and all these challenging things. But my mother stopped me one day when she saw my grades spiraling down. And she asked me, did I want to be a follower or leader? And I feel that those two questions turned the light on in my life. And it it introduced me to the power of choice, because what she continued to say was what she saw me doing was following, and I was following my environment, and that was the easy way. And that easy way was going to get me right to exactly where we were, in negativity and challenges and darkness. So you do what you see, you become what you see. Or she told me I could lead. I could lead in a power of not leading others, but I could choose to lead my own life. I could choose light. I could choose my destiny. I could hear the whispers inside of me, and I could choose to follow and find them no matter what my predicament currently said. And I could choose that light for myself. And that clicked the light on for me, the power of true choice. And yes, there are binds around you that physically make things challenging for you sometimes, but what is it worth to you? Like, do you want to persevere through what you see and find what you know to be true for yourself? And that's what I decided to do in my life. And I just started to choose life, and I chose light, and I continue to choose joy. No matter what life brings me, no matter what hardship comes, I always filter through the mindset of, okay, but what did I decide to be rooted in my life? Mm-hmm. And roots, that's my second collection, which is interesting because it's connected to the plant concept, right? Rooting deep, right, is powerful. And so plants are the vision of living life, right? It grows, but how does it grow? It grows through these really powerful roots. And so I always say, decide what you're going to be rooted in life. Is it your way of eating? Is it your way of being? Is it the way you present yourself to the world? What are your core values? Mine are love, peace, joy, perseverance, and continuous dreaming. And so no matter what comes in my life, I'm always setting myself back to those roots, good or bad.
Oh man, yes, so good. And okay, so Lia, when was it? I mean, you said, yes, your mother taught you this, but when was it? Do you remember like the day that you decided, look, and just for a little background, guys, like Lia is an entrepreneur here. We're going to be talking more about that. But when was it that you decided that you were going to be an entrepreneur, that you were going to make something pretty much with your own hands, you know, in your own heart, and make an impact on this world because of that?
It's so interesting because that's a beautiful question. My mother passed at an early age, but before she passed, she saw me choosing this light. She saw the transformation of who I was becoming. And before she passed, she told me, she gave me these earrings, little earrings, and she said, Lia, you are shining, you're radiating. Always wear your earrings, always keep them in, and wear them as a symbol to represent the light that you always, the greatness that you always have inside of you, no matter what comes your way. You are light and you can be light. And so here's these symbolisms to keep you in that reminding set. So those beautiful words stuck with me, and I start to sketch jewelry as a symbolism of these wearable reminders. Mm. And because my mother passed, and so I no longer had her words with me, but I had that mindset that what does this journey of life look like? And I can always wear them to be reminded. But that was a hobby. Mm-hmm. And it clicked on for me, the entrepreneurship. I feel I've always been a spirit of entrepreneurial mindset because I like to follow my inner self. So whatever I feel to be true, then I follow that. And I actually followed myself. I got a master's degree in education, and that sounds so great. And I am excited that I do have it. But I knew there was more. I knew there was some, that was not my total joy. And I decided that art was my joy. I've been sketching and I love that creativity. So I started to follow it, but I found that I wanted to try art in a form of makeup artistry and hair. So I went back to school and got cosmetology license. And that's interesting because that direction that I followed opened me up to the Netherland life. So whoever's listening, life doesn't have to make sense. I feel like when you listen to people give you this plan, this life plan, and it should all lay out and look really beautiful and methodical. That hasn't been the story of my life. Everything that my heart, I call it God, whispers to me, I follow out to completion, because my mother always told me to complete. I follow it out to completion. And those completions then miraculously take me to another great journey in my life, right? So the completion of my master's degree gave me the mindset of learning, this desire to be a continuous learner. And then the desire for creativity took me to cosmetology. But cosmetology took me to a place where creating this beauty on the outside of a person truly affects the inside of a person. So a lot of people think it's superficial, and you're not changing yourself. You're literally enhancing the beauty within. And I got to be able to connect with people's hearts and souls that way. And through that, I got to see there is a powerful thing of this visual inspiration that encourages you to be able to do more, and that you can be inspired. So what does that mean? Like, I would style people's hair and makeup, and at the end they would say, okay, but what earrings am I going to put on? Like, what necklace, what ring? It was the completion before they were about to do a live multimedia tour or go on stage or go live on TV. Those were the last completing shoulder back pieces that they would adorn themselves with, just to say no one else is going out there with them, but I have these pieces that are gonna make me feel that I've got this. And I start to see that parallel, and the beauty is, through a blessing, I found myself working for QVC as a stylist. And that's where the second I feel light was turned on. Many lights are turned on, but I was around these wonderful entrepreneurs, just seeing them follow their dreams and live them out fully. And two beautiful entrepreneurs, so many loving hearts have taken me and still take me under their wing. But I love to call out Vicky Tsai from Tatcha Skincare and Jamie Kern Lima, It Cosmetics, these two founders of these beautiful beauty brands connected with my heart immediately. And they took me under their wing, and they literally this is current, and they still show me the world and have shown me what's possible. And what they really exposed to my heart was, when you have a passion and a gift to give to the world, when you put 1000% detail, love, and passion and your mission in it, whether it's in the form of skincare or it's in the form of makeup, it actually in the hands of the receiver becomes life-changing, because the person that receives it feels what you want them to receive in their life. And when I saw that, I had been sketching for years, right? This jewelry concept. And I was like, wow, my life's journey has been this, from darkness to continuous light, because of choice. And these symbolisms represent that. And so I knew that I had to get my jewelry in the hands of people to let them know there'll be symbolisms of life-changing, all things are possible when they wear it. So that's when I decided to jump, seeing my mentors change lives through these physical, tangible pieces. And I created Valencia Key Jewelry, and I didn't just want to use my name, but life is so beautiful that Valencia in another language means brave, and key means to unlock. And so it's this mission that when you wear Valencia Key Jewelry, you are choosing to unlock the light, unlock the joy, unlock all the greatness inside of you. And that if I can come from my humblest beginnings and sit in front of you today, then whatever your dreams are, wear these pieces, you can too.
That is 100% truth. It is 100% truth. It is how it's your choice. It's your choice. No matter what circumstances you are surrounded by, you have the power to write your next chapter of your book. And that's so beautiful, Lia. Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, so at QVC, were you doing their makeup? Is that how you?
Yes, I was in the QVC salon doing host and on-air guest hair and makeup, and I call it my Disneyland. I mean, it's so funny. I'm telling you, follow the whispers in your heart. You don't know why they're there, and it's not going to be revealed to you until time the why. So it could find really, like, I went and did this cosmetic, and I knew I didn't want to work in a salon, like clients come in. So I knew that. I knew I wanted to continuously work on hearts, continuously touch people's spirit. And QVC was revealed to me when I was working at MAC Cosmetic. A lady, I rung her up, and she had a professional thing that came up. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? And she said QVC. And I was like, wow, that's 24-hour styling, like 24 continuous hours of beautifying the heart of people. And I knew that's where I wanted to be. And it took me 5 years to get there. So my next message to whoever's listening is the dream can be long, like real long. But you've got to decide, and you don't even need to know why you want to get to that dream. But if it's so burning in you, you persevere. Like, I got so many no's. I know you hear this on so many podcasts and things about no's, but I tell you, let me add to that. No's just mean keep preparing. No's mean go back to the drawing board and learn a little more and go back again. No's mean keep showing up, because there's something that you need to improve on, or there's something that is in cultivating mode while these no's are happening. So keep cultivating. And so when you get the no, don't take it's going to be personal and you're going to cry, because I cried every time. But don't take it as it's the end of your journey. Take it as, okay, so then what can I do differently? What can I learn? So I kept getting no's for QVC. I would email and they would say, your qualifications aren't good enough. Or I even went in one time and it was like, no, do you know someone? You can't. And I cried one day leaving, and I was like, oh, but my inner self said, but I'm going to walk through these doors one day. I knew it. So someone's listening and there's something in your heart you know to be true for you, but the world, I call it your predicament, right? Or your current circumstances say totally opposite.
Yes.
And people, if you told them, they probably laugh at you like, how is that possible? But your inner spirit, God, knows what's there for you. So take that to be true, but also take it to be a maven in life, to continuously learn how to always be better. So when I got these no's, I would cry, and then I'm like, okay, well then I need to work in a salon and I need to sweep someone's floor and learn under someone. And there I was sweeping floors, learning how to blow dry hair and learning how to do all texture hair so that I could be universal. And listen, 5 years later, when I finally got the interview, I had to do all texture hair, and I had to do all these things that I had learned through the 5-year no process. Mm-hmm. And had I had got a yes in the beginning, I wasn't ready. So just know, get ready in the no's and keep going after, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Man, so this is interesting because I teach my team. I work with Beauty Counter, so it's a beauty brand. Oh. And I have a team of women that I work alongside, and something that I've taught and something that I've learned is to go for no. And like, it kind of goes with an Instagram post that I made this morning. Like if we aren't getting uncomfortable and we aren't getting the no's, we are simply not growing. And the most expensive place on earth is the graveyard, which I think is very, like, I heard that just a few months ago, and I
heard that before
oh,
too.
my God, because that's where all of the dreams and like the desires and like the deep down inside, you know, your purpose, like that's where it all goes, because most people are not resilient enough, which is something that I know that you foster so much, to just trust that inner voice, that inner purpose that you know you're living with. And no matter what comes your way, the world, your circumstances, it's all happening for a purpose.
Yeah.
And, you know, so to go for no, like the more no's you get, eventually it's going to lead to a yes. And that yes and those no's are there for a purpose. Like the no's give you the resilience and the strength. And, you know, I also teach no does not mean no forever. No just means not right now. Maybe it's not the right time. You know, maybe things are just like, maybe again, there's no alignment yet. Like you went through all of the things that you needed to go through on purpose, not knowing that those were the skills that you were going to need to excel at QVC and eventually get the job. Like you just keep going. I mean,
and it's amazing because I was thinking hair salon, QVC, right? But that whisper took me to having my jewelry collection on QVC, but it's not because I worked in the QVC hair salon. That started a whole nother no journey, but it walked me into the doors. So like, show up consistently, because showing up will take you around the world and to dreams you can't even dream for yourself. Like I showed up because I just wanted to create hearts, right? And then being in this place unlocked this next level that was always there of the jewelry, showing that it was meant for me to be there to show me that my jewelry had to come out to the world and that it was possible. That's why Valencia Key Jewelry is so powerful to me, because I know the importance of seeing that it's possible. We can have a lot of dreams in our heart, but unless we're human, we have to have tangible results to see it on someone else or somewhere out in the world, to be encouraged to say, oh, that's possible? I didn't even know that was possible. Like, oh, are you meaning to tell me I can do that? And that's the beauty of my jewelry. Like, it's tangible. You wear it, you feel it to say it's possible. And we need that in the world always. Like no matter how confident you are, I consider myself confident, but I need encouragement all the time through wearable things, through podcasts and all of these beautiful things. And I just say, keep showing up for yourself, even when you can't connect that the no's are good for you, right? Some no's are petty. Well, let's be real, right? Some no's are, but like when you just say, no matter why the no is, I'm gonna cry my way through it. I am gonna get a little depressed, but I'm gonna give myself a timeline. I always give myself a timeline because I'm human and I go through emotions all the time, but I say, okay, I'm giving myself 24 hours for this. Or I'm giving myself 48 hours to cry this through. And then in 48 hours, I'm getting up and I'm gonna do something. Action. My aunt told me, I always used to say, I love you, aunt. And she was like, okay, but love is an action word. And so that's so powerful to me, because we say a lot of things and we think a lot of things, but most of these things we're saying and thinking are action based. And so the question is, are you doing the action? Don't tell me you love me, show me. Don't tell me you have a dream, do something toward the dream, right? Don't tell me you're depressed and sad about the situation that happened. Do something about why you're sad about it. And make a choice to put a time limit on when you're gonna step into the action of that. Because you have to give yourself grace to be human or you'll break down. But you also have to give yourself limits to show back up for yourself and for your dreams and for the world.
So true. So I was just interviewing my brand coach, and she literally, I was telling her the same thing, like that's, you know, the difference between an entrepreneur, not just an entrepreneur, just a women in general, like between the strong and the successful versus the ones that feel weak all the time. And it's literally just that ability to get back up. And I love, Lia, that you said you give yourself a time limit on how long you're going to feel bad for yourself, how long you're going to sulk, and how long you're going to sit with the circumstances that you're given. And Barbara Cochran is the one that's like on Shark Tank, you know, she's the one that said, you know, that's again, like the difference between a very successful entrepreneur and not, like the ability to not feel bad for yourself, to understand that these circumstances are given to you because of a larger plan that we might not be able to see and understand. So, okay, walk me a little bit through your journey with creating your jewelry line. How did you find the manufacturers? Like how hard was that? Because my husband and I we have a business of like elderberry syrup. And I mean, we've done a lot of different food production, and it's hard. It's hard. Like you just find one thing after the other. It is hard.
I'd say I've stepped into, you know, I've been a freelancer for many years, and that's a business, that's an entrepreneurship. But there's a different level when you're about to bring a product in the world, right? What? So I feel like when you're stepping into that journey, you're actually, or even the entrepreneurship, you're actually asking to be a firefighter. Like, because you're always putting out fires. Totally. The most unexpected things happen. And yes, it's hard, but it's worth it. So my journey starts with Google.
Okay, I love it.
To make it more complicated than it is. You know, I knew nothing about jewelry creation. All I knew is I'm a self-proclaimed artist and I had a sketchbook. And, you know, so I decided that, well, I never wanted to just find pieces that were already made. And I mean, I don't ever want to do that. That's just selling, and I don't want to sell. I want to bring love into your life, and the love starts with what I'm creating. And so I had to find a manufacturer that would take my hand sketches, ex-husband, that would take my hand sketches. So it started with this book. So here's all my hand sketches.
Yeah.
Right. And I just doodle and draw what I feel symbolizes these life symbols, that when you look at these symbols, it can trigger actions in your life, because we need triggers. That's how we keep going, triggers, and improve ourselves. So Google, I said, all right, well, let me Google. And I just spent hours upon hours, days upon days, because, you know, at Google, you have to find the different word search engines, like a search to find out like how to make hand sketch into jewelry. And I kept playing around with these words, and it would bring up manufacturers that you would just buy from, but I couldn't really always find my hand sketch. So finally, after probably months, I found one manufacturer that said they would take my images, take them into a 3D design, and then could take them into jewelry. And that was wonderful. But then I knew that I didn't want to create that until my jewelry had a soul and a heart, if you will. And what does that look like? Well, from being under my mentors, I call them sisters, Vicky and Jamie, I knew that it started with what you were, what your brand represented. And I had to travel for that. So I decided on a Wednesday that I needed to go outside of my world, meaning United States, and go to another country to get inspiration. So on a Thursday, I jumped on a plane. Wednesday, I decided. Thursday, I jumped on a plane. I was actually with Jamie when I decided this, and she encouraged me. And I went to Egypt. I'd always wanted to go to Egypt. Egypt had been in my heart since a little girl. Again, these whispers in your heart have so much purpose. So please listen to them. And it doesn't matter when you listen to them. I think it's beautiful when they keep coming up, you know they're true. Like some things come fly by night and you never think about them again, right? They aren't the whispers that you acknowledge. The ones that keep showing up, you need to bring attention to and address. So Egypt kept showing up in my life. So I got on a plane. I had no work and went to Egypt. And in Egypt, I kept being taken to these holy temples. And at first I was looking at them as cute, like, oh my God, amazing. And then I'm in one holy temple and a whisper came to my brain and it said, you are here for a purpose. Wow. Get down in this holy place and ask for what you're here for. And that was so powerful to me. So I literally got down in this holy temple and I asked that by the end of this journey that I'd be sketching the heart, soul, and symbolism of what my brand stood for, what I wanted to give to the world. And from there, I went to Morocco that same trip and I started to see all these lights. And then after the lights, I walked into this one store in Morocco and it was keys, because I hadn't named the brand yet. I just had sketches. It was keys from ceiling to roof. It was overwhelming. I was chilled. I'm like, whoa, my last name is Key. Never wanted to use it because I'm like, but I asked the store owner, why do you have all these keys? And he stopped and looked me directly in my eyes and he said, the keys represent, it unlocks the light in your life. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Chills, mind blown. That was my purpose. Like my journey starts in darkness. I'm continuously choosing light. I'm standing on Rocco today, that moment, because of the choice of choosing light. And my name happens to be Key. And so that was so powerful to me that I knew, and every person that I worked with said, I feel so much light when I'm around you.
Oh, wow.
And that was powerful that now it comes full circle that my mission was to unlock the light in the wearer's life. Mm-hmm. So on my plane ride home, I literally was, it's actually in this book, another book, hand sketching the logo, which took Valencia, because I researched and found that Valencia, like I said before, meant brave. And so I took the 4 V's and put them in a star form because I kept seeing all these lights in star form. And that represents the light in your life. And then I placed the key that unlocks this greatness in the center. So every time you wear that, my symbolism is in every piece.
Yes, I have the hair adornments. I just got them. They're so pretty. I love it because you guys, they're like a mood ring. You get to choose, like I love mantra. I love words of affirmation. And there's like 5 clips in there and you get to choose which one you want to put in that day. Joy, resilience, purpose, whatever. I love them. So, and they're gorgeous. And I love the meaning behind your logo. That's super powerful. Like, I love that story. It's so good.
Thank you. You're carrying the light with you every time you wear it. And when you see the key, I want it to be the trigger that wherever you are, you've got the key within always to unlock it. So even in a moment, if you're feeling dark, you're not feeling great, you're being nasty, wherever you are, in a second, you can take the key that's within you and unlock your joy, unlock your kindness, unlock your light, change your perspective on life, unlock your bravery when you're feeling cowardly or like, oh, I can't do it. You can unlock it at that moment and it literally is with you. But sometimes we need that reminder. Sometimes we need that support. And I love, like, you're wearing the hair adornments. I'm wearing the earrings. So now we have this visual proof. Jamie, Vicky, Jackie, all these awesome women are wearing it. And that's my next layer of the dream, that now you have visual proof that all of us are choosing to unlock our light. Right. So if we can, wherever you are in the world, you can. And we're going to shine our light so bright to continuously inspire others that they can shine with us. It's my dream and my prayer.
100%. Oh my gosh, friends. So good. Okay. All right. We're wrapping up here. I want to know, first off, where can we find you? And then I'm going to ask you, of course, the question that I ask all of my guests. So where can we find you? How can we stay connected?
Yes. Please find me check out my website. If anything, I just want you to feel love and be inspired. You see all different types of beauty and hearts, all ages, hair colors, everything. And then words of inspiration. And then hopefully you wear a piece of Valencia Key Jewelry on www.valenciakey.com or Instagram. I love the Gramsci. Follow me if you want to follow my jewelry, which I love because you get to see these different forms of the jewelry living out this joy. And so many people say they just go to my Instagram page just to smile. Aww. But if that's all you do, and I'm like, oh God, that's my dream. Thank you.
Love
and
it.
So that's at Valencia Key Design. And then if you want to follow this radiant experience personally, it's at Lia Valencia Key. So just stay connected with my heart. My prayer is that I'll always show up for you in a most loving, bright, joyful way.
Oh, I love it so much. It was just your voice strictly that, like, when I heard that your first, answer to Emma's question, I was like, I need that vibration. It's a vibration. Okay. The last question, Lia, that I ask all of my guests is, what does holistic living mean to you?
Oh, that's good. Holistic living to me is connecting with your inner spirit and always finding a way to improve your greatness, peace, love, and joy within, so that it's affecting yourself and others around you. It's continuous development.
Oh, it's good. It's good. That is good. I can't wait to make an audio clip out of that one. Okay. All right, friend. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for holding space with me today. It was amazing. And I know all of our guests are going to love this episode. So we can't wait to air it. Thank you, friend.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.